Hello and welcome to a bit of a spotlight video. I wanted to make a video talking about kind of an update video as well, I suppose, kind of an update spotlight video on the Australian boutique label, Blu-ray boutique label Imprint, and show you the ones I have in my collection, a very modest Imprint collection at the moment. But I really am loving these releases and wanted to talk about the ones I have, the ones I haven't seen, the ones I have, and kind of just give a little bit of an overview on the ones that I have. I've just said that. So let's dive into what quickly became, I think, one of my favorite films. So first up we have The Straight Story. This is a David Lynch film. And it was, for a long time, it was like this kind of the lone David Lynch. Well, actually, no, I still have Inland Empire to conquer. But it was this and Inland Empire, and I was much more inclined to watch this than Inland Empire. But I've always wanted to watch this, and it just didn't seem to have a easily accessible Blu-ray out there. So when Imprint came out with this, I kind of jumped on it straight away. And I love the artwork on this one. I think it's just a really nice, classy set of front pieces for the case and the outer box. And that's one thing I would talk about actually, is I really like the kind of slip box aesthetic that they go for with their releases. So you get the nice cardboard, shiny slip box, and then inside we get the clear Amaray case, and it's nice and classy. I have absolutely no fucking idea why a clear case makes a Blu-ray feel more classy than one with a blue case, but it does, and that is the case for some reason. So yeah, The Straight Story. This is a film about a real man, Alvin Straight, who decided to travel from his home state of Iowa to Wisconsin on a tractor. And I want to do a full review of this film, but this is Lynch, I think. I dare to say at his best. I think it's his best movie. Don't kill me. It's just, I feel like everything earnest and good and wholesome about David Lynch is represented in the story of Alvin Straight, and he portrays it so beautifully. And there's an amazing performance by Richard, I forget his name, Richard Farnsworth, who was dying of like bone cancer, I think, when he made this. And it's such a tender, beautiful performance. This old man in his 70s traveling across state on a tractor to visit his brother who's sick, played by a brilliant actor who we see at the very end. Kind of spoilers. An amazing ending, but the journey is phenomenal. Sissy Spacek is also great. She plays Alvin's daughter. But it's a beautiful film, and this comes with an audio commentary by film critic Peter Tungette, and I felt like David Lynch didn't approve of commentaries on his films, which is why a Kino Lost Highway release either didn't happen or it was the extras were removed or something. They got away with it here though. There's a featurette with the Minneapolis Crew made in 2021. There's a featurette about the film, a featurette about the score, and a visual essay as well on the Lynchian redemption of The Straight Story, along with a theatrical trailer. So a bunch of extras that Imprint produced themselves. Which I think the thing with Imprint, I think, is a lot of people look at the price point and it's like, that's pricey, and I agree. This is a label I could never buy everything from. But then I rarely do. The only thing I do it with is Eureka, Masters of Cinema. But I think that, they're really putting their best foot forward in terms of extras that they're producing. And this, I absolutely fell in love with this film. It's now one of my favorite films in my collection, I think. And I think that the Blu-ray is just I'm really, really happy with it. I've talked about this one before. This is The Gift. This is a Sam Raimi movie from the year 2000. So this was just before he went off and did Spider-Man, and I really enjoyed this one. This is kind of a psychological, I wouldn't say horror movie, but kind of a thriller. We have the character played by Cate Blanchett who has these premonitive powers, if premonitive is even a word, and there's a murder, and it's like southern USA kind of like the mood of it is great. Like you feel the kind of the sticky kind of hot, sweltering location, and the great cast. Hilary Swank and Keanu Reeves is You rarely see Keanu Reeves in a villainous role, but he's an absolute piece of fucking shit in this movie. I really enjoyed this one a lot. And Kate Blanchett, great performance, to the surprise of absolutely no one. This has audio commentary of the film historians, Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Howarth. Interview with the composer, both from 2021. A look inside featurettes, and then 3 behind-the-scenes production featurettes, and then promotional interviews, which you rarely get. I said this before when I did the update with this, but you rarely see those like junkets, and they're really interesting. That they give you a kind of they give a feel of the time in which the film was released that I really like. And I was intrigued to see what Keanu Reeves' interview was like, because it was like, how do you feel about playing this piece of shit racist cunt, and Keanu Reeves was just like, yeah, it was fun, man. I think he was kind of playing a little bit, but yeah. Theatrical trailer and TV spots. So a nice cover art again. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I was surprised by this one. And I do like Sam Raimi a lot. And I hadn't really heard of this before until I saw that Imprint were releasing it. I tell a lie. I was vaguely aware of it when it came out in 2000, because I knew that there was a scene where Katie Holmes was topless in it. And being a 12-year-old at the time, I was interested in that. A couple of more recent releases that I haven't cracked into yet, and I'd like to hear people's thoughts if they've seen these films. We have Across 110th Street. So there's an interesting reason for me to want to see this. I like crime dramas. I feel like 70s movies I need to see more of. This was 1972. And the cast is really good. You have Anthony Quinn and Yaphet Kotto. And it feels like that's like going to be a good combination, I'm really intrigued to see these two guys in the movie. But it's meant to be pretty brutal from what I've heard. But one of the main things that drew me to this was the title. Because the song, Across 110th Street, Bobby Womack, I think. Jackie Brown's one of my favorite films, and it ends with that song. And I think it's one of the best endings I've ever seen in a film, of the thousands I've seen. And so I love that song so much, and this is kind of where it originated, the title of the movie, and the song is used in it as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it ties into that. But it sounds like a good film from what I've heard. But I've tried not to... For me, when it comes to blind buys or blind watches, I feel like I can get a little inkling, a little feel of, is there an actor in it that I like? Is it a genre that I like, or a story that I like? And in this case, the song, that even helps sometimes. So yeah, I've read a little bit about the plot. So yeah, I'll go in. Crime movie, mafia, Harlem, Cross 110th Street. It's that divide between, Harlem and Central Park. And so I was like, okay, this is racial tension, and all that kind of stuff, and class. This has an audio commentary made for this release in 2022. And a 1990 documentary about Anthony Quinn, which is really cool. And an interview with author Mikhail J. Koven. I'm not sure if maybe it was based on a novel, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. And this one is also a fairly recent release from Imprint with... I was going to go to the extras before getting to the film itself. Before I jump the gun and jump ship, we have Damn the Defiant. So this is a film from the 60s, a British film from the 60s, 1962. What really drew me to this was the lead star himself, Alec Guinness. And I truly believe that I am the biggest Alec Guinness fan in the world, who's only ever seen him play 2 roles. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Nicholson in Bridge on the River Kwai, which is just, one of the great films. And I love Alec Guinness. Interviews I've seen with him, I love him. I've seen him in bits and pieces of other films growing up. I've only really seen 2 full performances of him. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Nicholson from River Kwai. So I feel a duty to see more of his stuff. And I read that he plays a kind of compassionate, British Navy captain. I thought, I'm all in. That sounds like my cup of tea, I don't love, and I've said this 1,000 times, I don't love war movies in terms of like, I watch them regularly and really get amped up for seeing them. But once I sit down and watch a good war movie, I get so wrapped up in it. So this is, I believe it was released as HMS Defiant. And then the American title was Damn the Defiant. So we have Alec Guinness, Dick Bogard, Anthony Quayle. And this has an audio commentary by film historians Barry Forshaw and Kim Newman. created for this release. In fact, all the extras, bar the theatrical trailer, were created for this release. Cast Adrift, an interview featurette with actors Brian Fallon, Peter Gill, and Roger Mutton. And then Defiant Crew, an interview featurette with the production manager Richard Goodwin, assistant editors John Crome and Norman Wanstall, standby props master John Chisholm, and special effects Martin Gutteridge. And then film historian Sheldon Hall has a featurette on Damn the Defiant. So, I mean, they got like all these people who worked in this film from the 60s. You know, I believe it's also directed by Lewis Gilbert, who did 3 Bond movies, including one of the best ones, The Spy Who Loved Me. Not that I'm expecting a Bond-level spectacle, although interestingly, 1962, this was released the same year as Dr. No. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking that one out because I'm a big fan of Alec Guinness. This one I'm really, really anxious to get to. It's one I've wanted to see for a long time now. I wanted the Criterion actually, but as Imprint were releasing it, I did perk up. But again, the new extras, I really think that they're nailing it with the extras they're producing for their releases. I think that's where Imprint are really sticking their head above the waters of, say, Eureka. You know, I mean, I love Eureka, but I think that their extras game could do with a bit of work. Even Arrow Video at times, I think, are kind of lagging behind a bit. And labels like Imprint and 88 Films, I think, are kind of stepping up their game quite a bit. This is A Night to Remember, 1958. I'm a big, I was going to say big fan of the Titanic. That's the wrong word to use. I'm a big, how would I call it? Enthusiast for the story. I am so fascinated by that tragedy. There's something so poetic about it. There's something so tragic about it. I mean, it's like a great novel, the way that I've said this before, where it was the unsinkable ship, and on its maiden voyage, it sank in the most spectacular way. Like most maritime disasters of this scale and magnitude and death toll, a ship sinks and it's under the water in 10 minutes and those people are dead. This was long, it was protracted, it was drawn out, it was dramatic, it was, I forget the time frame, it was something like 2 hours, It sank very slowly and very dramatically, and there's the survivors who told the story, and then the books that were written, and then movies, and this was the first, well, I'm not sure if it's the first one, but it's one of the more iconic classic movies about the Titanic, A Night to Remember, 1958, directed by Roy Baker. British film. At the time, I believe it was the most expensive British film ever made. They put a lot behind this. And this served as an inspiration point for James Cameron when he made his 1997 epic, which, people shit on Titanic, Cameron's movie. It's one of my favorite films. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. So for that reason, I'm looking forward to it. Apparently this was praised for its historical accuracy. And I'm by no means an expert, but I've seen some documentaries and I've seen how much Cameron's attention to detail was played out in that film. So, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this portrays, the ship and how it portrays the story. I love this kind of original poster there with the, what does it say there? The rank organization presents with pride Kenneth Moore in A Night to Remember. I think that's really cool. And that great artwork on the front there. And the extras, there's a 1080p high definition restoration by ITV Studios. That's one thing I can say about Imprint. There's never like a, original scan from the camera negative, but that's something that really companies with the kind of clout and money that Arrow Video can do. And they don't do it for every release even, but, from what I've seen of the Imprint titles so far, they've been good transfers, nothing mind-blowing. But that is one thing, I guess, to mention when I'm doing kind of a spotlight on their output. But, I'm sure it looks good. I haven't seen it yet. An audio commentary by film historian and author Bruce Hallenbeck. The Making of A Night to Remember documentary. Theatrical trailers, original costume notes, press and publicity gallery, behind the scenes gallery, production gallery. They really put a lot of stuff on this. And then the 2002 extras, we have A Shoot to Remember, an interview with the camera assistant Mike Fox, and then 3 kind of interviews with film critics and a film historian, Joe Botting, and the critics Matthew Sweet and Kim Newman. So 3 separate interviews and I guess kind of discussions on the film. Cannot wait to watch this one, and I will be coming back with those past 3 films and talking about them and giving you my thoughts. And then I've shown these 2 before as well, but it's worth showing them again. The incredible Wicker Man box set that they put out. which just the artwork alone, I think, is stunning. You know, I just, I love it. Yeah, just beautiful. And then, of course, you have the 3 cases on the inside, which give you pretty much the most comprehensive assortment of cuts of the film. You have the final cut, the theatrical cut, and the director's cut, and then special features and original soundtrack. So this is just a loaded release. Quite expensive, obviously, but I do feel like this style of box set, the way that they do it, I really love it, and I think it's in ways better than any company's box sets, really. I mean, I think about, Eureka, they do kind of a hard outer box and the cases on the inside. That's fine. Arrow tend to do the same thing. Criterion, they do the digipacks, which are very thin and flimsy, and they're very prone to damage. This is a nice hard outer box. It's got the nice kind of gimmick there of the top thing that comes off. Second Sight have used this with the Dawn of the Dead box set. And I think maybe that might be it that I can think of. But it's nice and sturdy. It feels like it'll last. You get the cases on the inside. And yeah, I'm not going to go through all this because there's a lot in this box set. But for fans of The Wicker Man, that's just a treasure trove of new special features and all the variant cuts. And then finally we have maybe one of my favorite pieces of my entire collection, the Warriors. Oh, what a fantastic, again, nice hard outer box. I've done a separate video on this one. This is just, love this release so much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really loving what they're doing. I wish, if I could keep up with everything and buy everything, that would be fantastic, but it's just never going to happen. It's unrealistic. And I would say it's probably unrealistic for most people. I know they do bundles. That might be some savings to be made there, but even the single titles are pretty pricey. And whenever I've talked about their releases on my channel, people say, "Oh, it was very expensive though," and it's like, yeah, I know. There's no working around that, but I do think for me their strengths are in the extras and the packaging presentation. It feels like they're not just slapping on titles that they can license onto discs and just shipping them out there. It feels like you're really getting quality products, and I like how they look lined up on the shelf as well, because you get the spine numbers on the bottom here, which maybe they won't focus on it. I don't know. I say they as if my camera is an entity, but I hide my head behind them. No. This is what happens when you get a camera that can focus on certain things but won't focus on other things. Oh, there we go. It got it in the end. All right, so don't fuck this up now. This is it. Don't get scared now. So you get the numbers on the bottom there of the spine numbers of the Imprint collection, I suppose. And the completionist in me would love to have a complete set, but it's never going to happen. I do believe these are limited as well, the slipcase versions. I think. I'm not entirely sure, actually. But I love on the top you get the year of release, and that's how I kind of like to organize most of my collections, is by year. So I like that that's there on the top. I think there's another set that I have. Yeah, the premium collection, they have the year on it. So the premium collection, again, spine numbered. I don't put them in spine numbers. I just do it in chronological year order. So I like that they put that there, so you can kind of pick. You can choose your own way, I suppose. But there you have it. That's my stack of Imprint so far. I don't foresee it growing dramatically in the future, but I really am loving the new extras and the films they're releasing. There's a wide variety of stuff. They're doing classic films, like film noir. They're doing neo-noir box sets. They just released a box set of Irish films, Jim Sheridan, and they're just, yeah, I'm really, and they're releasing soon one of my absolute dream releases, and I really hope I'll be able to get that and talk about it. But there you go. That's my stack of Imprint Blu-rays. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you collect them, let me know down below which ones you have, which ones you'd like to get, any thoughts on Imprint whatsoever, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.